if you're listening to a song, just because you make the volume louder, you're not going to feel more emotion from that. I mean, if it's really quiet, then yeah, you have to turn it up a bit, but you know, it only works up to a point. The music is conveying some spirit, right? And that's where you get the emotion from. So it's the same with the visuals, right? The visuals need to convey the spirit that the music is conveying. I want to project onto this projection screen, also onto LED strips. I want them all to visualize music in some way. So the way I want to do it is to have complete creative freedom. The only way to do that is if you do video editing to create the content. I am going to put it into the Resolume software. From there, I'm going to put it out via Ethernet into this controller. From this controller, I'll be able to hook that up to these LED strips onto the wall into like little sections the way I want it to. I want the center of the video to output via projector onto this projection screen. And I also want to use an APC40 to play this whole thing live. So this will connect to Resolume. These are just some tools that I'm going to be using. These are diffusion channels. This is just the power supply. So this will be powering the LED strips. All right, guys, so this is the final setup. It took me way longer than it should have. Let me just explain the key thing that's going on here, right? So I saw this one YouTuber and he had like, you know, LED strips on a wall and he was creating animations for them. But to create the animations, he actually used code, right? So he had an Arduino controller and then in the Arduino software, he was coding the animations. Now, although it looked cool, here's the problem, right? Your coding skills could be like at an extreme level, right? But they're never going to be a match to my basic, very basic amateurish video editing skills, right? And animation skills. And just using like a simple software like CapCut, for example, right? Let alone After Effects. My basic video editing skills are going to be way better than your animation skills using code. You understand that? And that's really important because if I can video edit something and somehow then use that to drive the animation on these LED strips, that's going to be way cooler. And that's exactly what I have here set up. And so to do that, I first do the video editing. Then I put the video content into the Resolume software, right? And then from Resolume, it uses the ArtNet signal that you send over through this Ethernet cable, right? So this is the LED controller that receives the ArtNet signal, and then it with the chip inside, it recodes that into a signal that the LED strips can read, right? And each port can handle something like 4096 pixels. Here you see the channels, like every little light is considered a channel. And each channel has 3 pixels, right? This whole thing is 72 channels, right? And one port can handle like 4096 pixels. So if you divide that by 3, because each channel has 3 pixels, that's something like over 1,300 channels, right? And this whole thing has something like 720 plus, something like around 900 channels. Right, so even with one port, you can run all of these channels. I'm actually using 2 ports just for convenience because I'm powering 2 sections. There's, as you can see here, this is one section, goes this way, and this is the other section. And the reason I'm doing that is because there's a voltage drop. Here it starts at 5 volts, but by the end of it, right here, I used a multimeter. This is about 2.5 volts. So there's a huge voltage drop, right? So I need to power both these sections separately, otherwise the whole thing wouldn't work. And for that, so that's why I'm using like a separate port for this and another one for this. The colors of these wires, they don't really matter, but you can see here, we need a data signal and a ground signal, okay? And then this is the power unit. It has I think 20 amps, which like if everything was on full brightness, this is definitely not enough. But to be honest, like for the purposes that I'm doing, this is like actually enough. It really is. All right, so let's get back here. I just want to show and explain how everything is working. So this projector is going to go for this space in here. All right, so I'm only going to show the LED strips for now, but then at the end of the video, I'm going to do one at night so you can actually see, you know, how cool it can look. What else? Let's just go through this real quickly. So here we have Resolume, right, the software, and here I have the video content that I made previously, and then on this side here we see the ArtNet signal. This is just an HDMI coming in to send the signal to the projector, and then here we have a signal to go to this controller. I haven't set it up yet, but you could use this to launch the videos and like do faders and stuff. All right, guys, so as you can see, you can get any image you want. So I just got like some kind of rainbow thing, but this is all controllable on Resolume. So for example, let me just rotate this thing, right? It's, you know, it's rotating. You're completely controlling everything. Just like for the heck of it, let's just try some animations real quick. I can increase the speed, right? Something like that. I don't know, what does this do? Okay, that's the width, right? See, I can make them smaller, right? I mean, and if you were gonna be coding, it would take you forever. That's if you know how to code. But this is like all like super controllable, right? So anyways, this is not what I wanted to show you. Let me just clear this real quick, all right? So I'm gonna launch something I worked on. The first layer is gonna be for the projector, and that's gonna go here. Then the second layer is just kind of like the background color for these LED lights. And then the top layer is gonna be like the rhythm, right? The bass and like other kind of chaser elements. So the cool thing is, if I want the background on the lights, I can increase that if I want. Like I'm doing right now. But now it's a little too bright, I can bring it down. Maybe I want the elements to be more pronounced. That's basically it. So it's a really interesting concept. If you guys have some questions or recommendations, you know, I'd be really happy to help.